When I log on, I default to my club. You'll default to your club. And the one thing you'll see is you can go to this week's meeting and you'll see all of the roles. Our club is unusual. We have a chairperson and a toastmaster. The chairperson does the first half of the meeting. The toastmaster takes over for the second half. Remember, again, we're a weekly club, so it gives two people a chance to speak as well, so more people can have a go at it. And actually, it's quite a role anyway, even with dividing the meeting into two halves. Each Your particular format of meeting is set up by the VPE. It's normally doesn't need to be edited because the format is the same from week to week or fortnight to fortnight. So we have a grammarian, timekeeper like everyone has, topics master, same for everyone, toastmaster, three speakers, three evaluators, GE, a sergeant at arms. In our club, the sergeant at arms introduces the guests and delivers the messages, and the concept of reserve speaker and a reserve evaluator. So when we're looking at this, I've logged on, I can take a role. So if that role's not taken, then you get this little button here and you'll see the pop-up, I accept the evaluator role. So I could click this and then I go into the agenda as the particular evaluator. In this case, it will be a VUCA's speech for next Tuesday's meeting. I can sign up for the reserve and all of those things. So that is simply how you get a role for the next meeting. Now, if I move this, I'm moving your little video panel around so I can see the next meeting. So you go on to this week's meeting, and if I click next, so I say I want to look and see. Now we've got a workshop next week on humorous speeches, so I'll go to the week after that. So you can see many more roles are available for the 16th. So I could sign up to be any of the roles that are still available. So we've got our three speakers. So we can go on in a second to how you sign up to be a speaker. Now you can talk directly to the VPE and the VPE can look here and say, oh, there's a slot available. Sometime you might say to the VPE, I would like a slot in the next few weeks. What have you got, sort of thing? And they'll say, well, I'm planning to put this person there so we could do it in a month's time, etc. If you look at the left-hand panel, the other key thing, apart from taking a role, is wanting to be a speaker. So on the left-hand panel, this is the way I get there every time, request a speech. So we click on that, a pop-up comes up. Now I like to go to the middle panel, workbook speech. And if we look in there, I think I can make this a bit bigger. No, it doesn't let you do anything. It lists all the possible speeches you can do. So for me, you can see this is my history with Toastmasters. So in October 22, I did my icebreaker. And then we have my 5 level 1 speeches, my 3 level 2 speeches. And then in level 3, I did persuasive speaking, connect with storytelling, and connect with your audience. So there are 3 speeches in level 3. And level 4, I've done managing a difficult audience, and I haven't requested my Q&A yet, but when I do, it'll be here. So I click on the particular elective speech, it will highlight it. I'll then go into speech title. I'll put in the title. You don't have to put the introduction in at all, or you can put the introduction in at a later date, but it's always good to put a title in. The title can be, I haven't decided yet, but I think you have to put something in there. And then you can go preferred dates, and it lists all the meetings coming up. And if the meeting has got 3 clocks, that means there are 3 speeches already scheduled for that meeting. So our 2nd of September, our 16th and the 30th are all full. Our 7th of October has got a 3rd slot still available. So EasySpeak also gives you the chance to have 3, in other words, to volunteer to give your speech on 3 separate meetings, your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice, and that helps the VPE schedule the speech. So you don't get on the agenda until the VPE puts you onto the agenda for your speech. So that is how you request it. So the 3 tabs, the title and optionally an introduction, though you can add that at a later date. You say what part of the pathway that speech is. and you then put down a preferred date. If you ask me the question, do you have to tick, do you have to, it's not really ticking a tick box, is it? But do you have to select one of them? I don't think you do, but I think it's good as part of your progress to actually commit to going through the process the correct way for pathways. So that's how you request your speech. So for me, they're the two things you really need to use Easy Speak for.
And
Requesting.
Mike, is that in addition to becoming a reserve speaker as well? Because I see at the bottom of your screen you've got the option, and you've said yes, I think, haven't you?
Yeah. So I think if you're a reserve speaker, you will almost always have requested your speech on on those three dates. If you put yourself as a reserve speaker, what you're saying really to the VP is, I'm ready to go with the speech. And then generally on the WhatsApp group, there'll be some discussion. Someone will come up and say, I'm detained at work. I can't do my speech. Can anyone do it? And the VP would look at this and say, oh, there's some, they might probably know because they know someone might drop out. They'll know someone's on the reserve list and they will liaise and put that person in. Remember, the meetings aren't run entirely through EasySpeak. The VP has a really hard job sometimes, especially in a weekly club, of dealing with all the last minute changes. So the VPE might come on here and make the changes, certainly up to a couple of days before the meeting. Then this will be managed by the person themselves, the member themselves. But obviously the VP doesn't want to get to a meeting with roles not filled. So there'll be some, cajoling in a nice way going on. Say, are you ready for your speech yet? I mean, I know one of my friends, Chris Purcell, has been wanting to do a speech for 2 or 3 weeks because something's happened in his life that's really interesting in his work, making a film. And so he's put himself on the reserve list, I think we saw earlier on. So yes, nothing is absolutely precise and locked down as a process. But really, if you've got a speech ready to go, this is a way of saying, I'd love to deliver it next week, but I've noticed there's 2 or 3 meetings full up. So if you need someone, and the VP loves to have a reserve because it means their job's easier if someone drops out because we know someone is ready to go. Any more questions on this bit? I've got one or two other bits we could probably have a look at. No. So if I can show club, is it club charts is quite a good one. Pathways chart. Roles by participation chart. This might be the one. No.
Has everybody got access or onto all these, or is it only the admins?
No, there's the admins. What I'm trying to find is my participation, my speech progress. I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, you've sort of seen that one. This records your speech progress, so you can see, my first. This is what your VPE or people in your clubs. This is part of what they do. They will record your attendance in Easy Speak. They will record and the fact that the roles had evaluators, that all gets automatically recorded. But for Athenians, we certainly record attendance, I think, here as well, so you can see how many meetings you attended. So I can see that, my mentor Casper evaluated my icebreaker speech. Oh, that's right, not the front man. That was about me being a number two in the company, being a drummer, and always not wanting to be the person up front, but being the sort of number two. I think it's the Consigliere or something there's a book about it. So that was the idea of my first speech. So it was a personal story, but in that sense, it wasn't the camper van. That was my first speech with a purpose. So here you can see the progress of your speeches. What I was trying to show was my participation in terms of roles. Uh, and I'd like to find it. Oh, it might be is it my profile? Uh, so there my speeches. Mm, no, I can't see it. There's something somewhere you can show because I like to see what roles have I done. And So I've now done each role a few times, so you can sort of see, you can see your stats as it were. Some people don't care, but it's quite interesting to see all of that. So you'll all have my profile somewhere. So that's a overview of sort of the important bits for yourselves of EasySpeak. So just to say again, EasySpeak is for booking a role for yourself and for requesting a speech. It has no connection with Toastmasters International website. It's just about managing your sort of your route through the club and your participation in the club.